Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday the 5th of June. So starting looking at the euro dollar, and well, yesterday I mentioned that the options expiry, the large options expiry at the 117 area may hold price. Well, today we've still got some rather large positions, not quite as big, but enough to maybe hold price, pin it somewhere between. I mean, there's three options expiries at 1600, 1600, 1650 and 1800. They're starting at 1 billion, 1.3 billion, 1.8 billion respectively. There is room below that 118 to see that hit without it causing too much of a problem, and maybe price may move towards that larger one, but as I say, there are the two at 1600 and 1650. Now the price often just with these larger option positions tends to hold around them. That's the most important thing. They may head towards them sometimes if they're bigger, much bigger positions and isolated. Other times they just stay well away, but in this particular case there is the potential upside there. Yesterday we had a large one at 117 and it just held price. Now pretty much around the area for a lot of the day. It didn't really, it moved above and below, but not significantly. Today we may have a potential bigger range, but little in the way of significant news to drive things, but the market's got some volatility in it anyway. So where from here? Well, it's still pretty much as yesterday. We've got the monthly pivot sitting above us, the daily pivot, the weekly pivot sitting below us, and it's between a rock and a hard place. The draw up towards, well, could run towards that 118 sort of area, and the picture here is marginally still but more bullish than bearish, and so long as it's in that picture, well, that's the way I would potentially be looking here. Now say it is a bit of a struggle in terms of, yes, there's the monthly pivot ahead that may provide a bit of a magnet effect. We'll see, but before that there's the daily R1, which just as easy with yesterday's highs could form the resistance point, at least partway through the day. At the moment you can, I mean, this just pretty much sums it up what sort of choppy days we've had of late. It starts off in one direction, fires back the other direction, and then ends up pretty much where it started. I'm expecting almost more of the same. There's nothing to drive things differently at the moment, and we could be running through a much choppier market. Okay, let's have a look at the pound. I'll come to the news events in a moment. So the pound, well, similar picture. It pushed up and then just rolled over yesterday. Now Theresa May, I understand, is due to release details of the border arrangements for Northern Ireland. So well, we could see some volatility throughout today on that basis. Where are we technically though? Well, again, sorry, I want to talk about fundamentals. I'll come back to that in a moment. Where we technically, well, again, it's a bit similar to the euro in some respects. Although we are sitting on its weekly pivot at the moment here, at the moment it's the potential for it to run back towards that monthly pivot. Now, on this 4-hourly pitch, you would look at it higher low, higher high. It looks like it's got the potential for the upside. The momentum fell out of it yesterday. It's not the easiest. I mean, it has got the daily pivot above at the moment, which may be a draw. Whether it can break that area and start pushing up towards maybe yesterday's highs, and even if not, then just the R1, those sort of sub highs a bit earlier on, would be a good move for it. But I do foresee some choppiness in these markets. I mean, as I said, if May does come out with the right words, well, we could see some a decent move. Now, of course, there are fundamental data. There is fundamental data coming out at 9:30 on the pound as well, which will affect it to some degree. Dollar yen, well, it's continued the softening approach here, the unwinding of the risk. The risk off, and we're seeing this move gradually towards that daily 200. As I said in the weekly update, whether that holds it is another matter. It's not the clearest of moves to trade intraday, but it looks a lot clearer on those bigger time frames. We see a lot of chop throughout the periods. Even when it is moving up, it's more of a spiky sort of move. You sort of see the tails on each of the candles there, not particularly the clearest moves, particularly through our trading period. I mean, this is right up until 6 o'clock, and it's this choppy intraday choppiness, but the more swing side of things may see more upside on this. Now there does appear to be a bit of 60-minute divergence there. Let's have a look on the RSI as well. Yeah, certainly a bit of divergence there. Maybe we've got daily pivot below us at the moment. That may be as far as it runs. It may just correct itself out on that. We'll see, but certainly a bit of divergence appears at the moment, so watching for that retracement. Aussie dollar. Said many a time, I do not look to try and intraday trade this. It's often too choppy. Yeah, I mean, yesterday we had a good clear day. Most of that happened through the Asian session. Early Asian session started. I'm saying most of it actually. In fact, yeah, it did. It's alright. It's 4 hourly bars. Just thinking this is the hourlies for a moment. It seems to have fouled a little bit where it is there. Maybe that's its limit. Let's just come back to dailies. Yes, just run into that daily 500. Let's come back to 60-minute. Well, it's put a lower high and it's weakish, but still got some potential. If it breaks below that daily pivot, well, maybe we'll see a bit more of a correction back down towards the S1. If it can hold where it is, well, and start moving up, well, it may see another new near-term high. Aussie dollar, Canadian dollar. Let's have a look at where we are standing with the Canadian dollar. And it's still in this choppy old zone that it's been sitting in for some time now. It's not particularly clear at all. There's this, well, which direction? Well, pretty sideways. This 60 minutes sums it all up. Yesterday the range was very tight. Yep, we may come back towards that monthly pivot at the moment. It may just chop around that area. If it can make a decisive break below that, well, perhaps we'll see a bit more of a correction to these prior lows here from a few days ago. But it's just such a choppy old market at the moment for many hours, and best avoided whilst it's like this. So there we go. That's that. Now in terms of fundamentals, and we've got some data coming out today. We've already seen it. Aussie data out at 5:30. 9:30 this morning, we've got the services PMI for the UK, which is a big number. So it'll be interesting to see the volatility that surrounds that at 9:30. We do have a member of the Bank of England MPC committee due to speak at International Derivatives Expo in London. Well, maybe we'll get volatility out of that at 11 AM, but probably not too much. And then 3 PM this afternoon is the next big figure, which is the ISM non-manufacturing PMI US data coming out there, which could affect obviously all the US pairs. Right, that's it for me. Have a great one. Bye for now.